show. It is time to dust off your teacups and fire up the kettle. Maria's showing us how to throw the best tea party ever, everybody.
Oh, a DIY tea party.
See,
I love tea, I love coffee. I can't live without it, but also something that I love Alison Sweeney. I'm a huge fan of hers and Chronicle Mysteries. There's a new installment, Vines That Bind, dun dun dun. And Alison Sweeney plays Alex, and she is investigating the suspicious death of a winemaker. And I have to tell you, so there's a couple different scenes where they're having tea, specifically the tea that caught my eye. And in this scene, it's a beautiful blue and white tea set. And I sat there and I was like, I want to have a tea party just like that. So it inspired me to kind of create my own DIY version of her little tea party.
Fantastic.
Yes, and it was a beautiful tea. So you guys have to watch this one coming up.
You know, hearing you say that, I love that you're watching it and you notice those little teapots and things like that, because I'm watching it looking at the mystery. And the good news is I know how great Allie is and her characters are at solving mysteries, because I got to work with her so many times.
Yes.
But she's going to be here a little bit later in the week to tell us all about this newest installment of Chronicle Mysteries, which is exciting. But in the meantime, I want to make this tea set, and you found a way to kind of take a classic tea set and modernize it a little bit, Maria.
So we're sort of seeing this minimalistic, sort of Scandinavian feel when it comes to decor, and that's really what the inspiration for these trivets. And actually, little saucers can also be little coasters as well if you want to use these afterwards. And that's what you really need in a tea set. And so this will work for any kind of cup. So I have tons of coffee cups, but you can use them as tea because now they're instantly fancy.
I'm a tea drinker, I'm a coffee drinker, we're the same person.
All of the above.
Okay, how do we get started?
Okay, so these are wooden rings. They're unfinished wooden rings. So I found these online, but also if you want to do the bigger sizes, these are embroidery hoops. So the embroidery hoops are going to come in a variety of sizes as well. And I did a mixture of both. And then for what I have over here is sort of the material. I don't want to call it yarn because it's not necessarily a yarn.
Okay.
This is like a t-shirt material, a jersey material. A lot of times I found it called a fettuccine yarn. So look for that. And so what it is it's going to be a type of material that's not going to melt or anything with the heat. And it's really strong and it's not going to fray. So that was my purpose with that.
Got it.
And I have my different sizes of the rings. So that's what I have here. There's two different ways to get started with it. So I have my embroidery hoop and then the ring on the inside. You could do a bigger one, but I wanted to make sure that things could sit properly on there. So either you start by doing two different ties here and here, or you start with just one tie and you do this. So I'm going to show you a couple ways to go about getting started. So I have my material here, and what I would do, I would take my fabric scissors and cut. And you see, this is what is going to keep this in the center, which is the main purpose of it. And you just pull it through here and tie it, and after that, you would just start looping. So this is going to be kind of your easiest way, and as you do that, you're going to want to make sure to pull so that it's staying centered, but you would loop. And I'll show you how to do the looping, but let me move over here.
I was just going to ask you how you make sure you stay in the center like that.
Yeah.
So you keep that initial knot a little loose so that you can keep kind of tweaking it a little bit.
So you can finagle it a little bit. So you see what I have here. And what you want to do is you pull the bottom through, and it's sort of like easy sort of a sewing almost approach without the needle. You do this and you pull. And so actually I'm like pulling down here, and as I do it, do this and then keep going as you go through. And you want to make sure to keep doing that as you keep this in the center. And it does help to kind of hold it up like that as you do it. So let me show you how to kind of finish it. But you want to keep going like that, and you'll eventually get to where I am.
To keep the tension is what you're doing, right? So that you see the side.
And so you can see I get to the end, and it gets easier as you go. So you finish it by looping around like that. And you can see just how easy that is, especially as right when you get to the end. And what you can do is you can tie it onto your other end there, and you're done. And that's it.
That's amazing that all of that, and you'll need one or two ties.
Exactly.
That's really
exactly.
impressive. Look at that.
And then you're done, and you can just cut off the excess.
And you can use it for your teapot, you can use it for your mugs, your saucer,
yeah, any
your
kind
trivet.
of a little trivet, exactly.
Okay, so you got your DIY trivet and saucer all planned out here. You also got a very interesting DIY, you ready for this? At home, homemade sugar cubes.
Yum.
And you got started a little bit earlier.
I did. Let me tell you how easy these are to make. So right here I have 2 cups of sugar that I'm using, and you want to use 3 teaspoons of a liquid per cup. So I'm doing 6 of these all together, and I'm actually using a rose water, which we can talk a little bit more about. Mix it up, and then I found the best tools, clean hands. So use your hands just to mix it all together. What I'm doing is I'm pouring it into a baking dish, a flat baking dish, using my hands to press it down. You want want to make sure to line it with some parchment paper. And I used the cup just to like push it down a little bit more and use a very sharp knife to create the shapes of my sugar cubes. And then after this, you want to pop it into the oven. This is a 250-degree oven. You want to put it in for about an hour. You don't want it to be any hotter than 250 degrees, a sort of low and slow situation. Let it cool. When it comes out, you will be able to break them up into little sugar cubes. And that's how you create sugar cubes.
I can't believe that. Can I be honest
so
with you?
easy.
I thought you were going to put it in the fridge instead of the oven. Like I thought you would cool
interesting.
them instead of heat them, but I get it. You heat them so they all melt together.
You know, yes, a lot of it is, it's more about the water evaporating than it necessarily is about melting it.
Oh,
So that's
I
why
see.
it's a low and slow.
That's what I meant.
used, you're close. I used a rose water for this, so you can flavor these too if you want. You can use a regular water. I
Yep.
used a rose water. It adds a nice floral scent to it and a mild floral taste, which I really love as well. You could use a coconut sugar, which I
See?
know you love if you wanted to do that sort of like brown, you know, I love
easier
getting
on your
those.
insulin and yeah.
Exactly.
good.
So coconut sugar, and you would do it in the same way. You might need to adjust depending on, I feel like every brand's sort of different when it comes to the
Yeah.
coconut sugar, how much of the liquid you add. We could also add some vanilla extract or any kind of extract that you like. And that's it. And we enjoy our tea.
Yes, we do. Now all that's left to do is you take yours.
Thank you.
Take this guy right here.
There you go.
Okay, stir that in. Cheers.
And you sit and you sip your tea and you watch Alison Sweeney and as she investigates the mystery.
Yummy. It's green tea. I love green tea. Make sure to visit hallmarkchannel.com for full instructions.